Okay, so on your quiz tomorrow, what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a choice. I see 9 problems here, and you're going to have to choose 6 of them that you want graded. We're going to start with letter A. We have x to the 1/2 times y raised to the 3/5, all of that raised to the 10th power. Here, just like in the problem we did right here, everything inside the parentheses wants that power of 10. And so this becomes x to the 1/2 raised to the 10th times y to the 1/5 raised to the 10th. Now think, what are we supposed to do with our exponents there and there? Okay, and we're going to multiply. So 1/2, 1/2 times 10. If you think, what is half of 10? Should be 5. X to the 5th, and then 1 divided by 5 times 10, and that is 2. So we get x to the 5th, y to the 2nd, and we're done. Again, I'm going to erase here just so we're focusing only on the problem we're doing. And the next one is 3 times x to the -3/4 times 2 times x to the -3/8. Okay? Now here I look and I see 3 times 2. And I know what 3 times 2 is. That's going to make a 6. And then I see x to the -3/4 times x to the -3/8. I'm saying, okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to take these and we're going to add them. So it's going to be x to the -3/4 plus -3/8. And so over in my calculator, we'll go parentheses -3 divided by 4. And then we're going to add parentheses -3 divided by 8. Push enter. We get a decimal. We want a fraction. And so we're getting -9/8 there. So this becomes 6x to the -9/8. Now we're not quite done because we have a negative exponent. I don't want to leave any negative exponents. And so because this has a negative exponent, it wants to move. The 6 is going to stay there. And then the x moves to the bottom. It becomes positive 9/8. We have x raised to the 2/3 times x raised to the 4/5. What we're going to be doing here is we're going to be subtracting our exponents. Think about if you had x to the 5th over x to the 3rd. You say, okay, well, we're going to do 5 minus 3. And there's more x's in the top, so that becomes x squared. So we want to subtract the 4/5 minus the 2/3. Now let's figure out where are there more x's, because we have these fractions. Is 2/3 bigger than 4/5? Is 4/5 bigger than 2/3? So let's compare here. 2 divided by 3 is 0.6 repeated. 4 divided by 5 is 0.8. So there's more x's in the denominator. So this will be x in the denominator. We're going to subtract the bigger number minus the smaller number. And there's going to be a 1 left over in the top. So we have 1 over x. And then over here, we'll go, parentheses, 4 divided by 5, close the parentheses, subtract, parentheses, 2 divided by 3, close the parentheses. Hit enter. We get 0.13 repeated. Turn that into a fraction, and we're getting 2/15. And we're done. Okay, this is very similar to one of the ones we did in class. The first thing I'm going to be looking for is parentheses. I don't see any right now. So the next thing I want to do is look for negative exponents, and I'm seeing a couple of them. This is x to the 1/4. It's going to stay. Y is going to stay. Z to the -2/5. That wants to come down. Then the x to the -3/4. It wants to come up. Y to the -2nd wants to come up. And the z to the 8/5 wants to stay. And so, as I said, x to the 1/4 stays. The y stays. x to the 3/4 come up. It doesn't matter if you write it here or here. I'll write it over here. X to the 3/4. And the y to the negative second comes up. It becomes y to the positive second. Over z to the 8/5 stays down there. And then the z to the negative 2/5 comes down. Now look here. We're going to add our exponents together. X to the 3/4 times x to the 1/4. If you have 3/4 and you add 1/4, you're going to have a whole. So this is equal to x, y to the first times y to the second. We'll have y to the third over z to the 8/5 times z to the 2/5. We have our common denominator, so I know that's going to be 10/5, which will reduce it to, but I'll do it over here just to check myself. 8 divided by 5 plus 2 divided by 5. And so, yeah, we're getting z to the second on the bottom. And we're done there. Okay, x squared raised to the 3/5 power. There's not much to do here. We're just going to be multiplying. Okay, so we do 2 times 3 divided by 5. And so we're getting 1.2. I don't want to leave that, so I get my fraction. And so we get x raised to the 6/5. Here we have the 5th root of 32 x to the 5th. 32 is a perfect fifth. It is 2. And x to the 5th is also a perfect fifth. So the 5th root of x to the 5th is x. Done. Okay. Down here now, the 4th root of 256. Ooh. See now, I don't know off the top of my head, is 256 a perfect fourth? So there's a way to check. Over in your calculator, you're going to push 4, go to the math button, and then you're going to this 5th option. So that tells me the 4th root right there of 256. And it is. So 4 to the 4th is 256. But x to the 20th, ooh, I really want the index to match up with that exponent. So we're going to do a little manipulation here. We're going to write our 4th root. I'll write the 256 as 4 to the 4th power. That matches with that. That's good. Now x to the 20th though. Remember, we want it to be something to the 4th power. So what number needs to go there so that when I do my rule, I end up with my 20? And that's going to be a 5, because 5 times 4 makes the 20. And so the 4th root of 4 to the 4th, okay, is going to be 4. And the 4th root of x to the 5th to the 4th is going to be x to the 5th. Now over here, there is just a whole lot going on. We have the 5th root of x squared times the 5th root of x to the 3rd, all of that raised to the negative 3rd power. Now there's several different ways you can go about this. But the first thing that my eyes are drawn to, and let me erase over here, okay? The first thing that my eyes are drawn to is that our indexes are the exact same. And so what I want to do is, I want to go raise that to the negative 3rd. That's fine. But on the inside, since they're both 5th roots, I'm going to rewrite it as 1/5 root. And I'm going to have my x squared times x to the 3rd on the inside. Now I'm actually going to do this. I did that for a reason. I want to know what is the 5th root of x squared times x to the 3rd. And so we still have our parentheses, our negative 3. We still have our 5th root, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do this, x squared times x to the 3rd. That becomes x raised to the 5th power. And I like that because look what we have here. The 5th root of x to the 5th. That becomes x, and I still have my exponent of negative 3. 5th root of x to the 5th was x. Still have an exponent of negative 3. Oh my goodness gracious. We do not like negative exponents, so we make that 1 over x raised to the positive 3. Okay, and the last one we have is the fourth root of x to the 12th divided by the fourth root of 16x to the 11th times x to the third power. There's a lot going on here as well. But the thing that I see, and it's kind of hard to see here, but it's written on your paper, is all of your indexes are the exact same. Okay, they're all fourth roots. So what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite it as 1/4 root. We'll have x to the 12th power on the top over, and then it'll be 16x to the 11th times the x to the third on the bottom. And now what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite here a little bit. We'll have fourth root of, we'll have x to the 12th all over 16x to the 14th power. Now I messed up here in writing this problem because I wanted these aren't going to work out very well for us, but that's okay. It's okay. So what you can do is let's just change this a little bit. I wanted this to work out just a little bit nicer. So let's not make this x to the third right here. Let's make this x to the 5th. So this becomes x to the 5th, and this becomes 11 plus 5. This becomes a 16. And it's going to work out nicely on your quiz, I promise you that. So we're going to go this way now. Fourth root of. Now I see x to the 12th over x to the 16th. And so what I'm thinking to myself is, oh, I'm going to be subtracting my exponents. Okay? There's more x's on the bottom. So we'll have our 16 down there. X to the 16 minus 12 is x raised to the 4th power. And you can't just leave your top blank, so we got to put a 1 there. And then I'm really excited because I know the fourth root of 1 is 1. The fourth root of 16 is 2, and the fourth root of x to the 4th is x. Okay? But that was my mistake for making that x to the 3rd. It should have said x to the 5th, but we made that change there, and it's going to work out nicely tomorrow. All right, so that's your practice quiz. Again, from this last section, okay, there's 9 questions. You're going to be able to choose 6 of these, okay? Everything else is pretty much good to go. Good luck studying, and I'll see you tomorrow.